All right, what's going on, everybody? We got a ladder match this week with Tea Leaves versus Art Space Cadets. It was supposed to be 5v5, but they were down a rider, so it was 5 versus 3 actually. So they were at a huge disadvantage, but nonetheless, we still continued to race. The unfortunate situation about this was we had a rider who was currently in the midst of starting his own ladder team, uh, kind of create his team and then leave our team without us knowing before this race. So he wasn't actively on our roster as the time of this race, which resulted in our entire team getting disqualified. So it is what it is. I do feel some type of way about that. I feel like that was kind of a harsh punishment. Especially that they can see that obviously this has never happened. He's raced with us multiple times before, and it's just one of those weird outliners. But you know, it is what it is. We raced hard. We won in spirit. We lost by the rule book. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll definitely do a rematch sometime in the future. Thanks. right, so our plan going into this race was really just to get Brian to this climb. We were going to come out hammering pretty good, but Jose wasn't feeling too well. So we just kept a chill pace, but nonetheless, the goal was for Brian to smash up this climb, and everybody else just kind of do their best and reassess at the top, and we go from there. The odd thing about this was the two ARC guys, Haddo and Rocket Man, who I raced before, seemed like they were chasing Brian, which in my mind wasn't the best choice. But it worked in our favor because in my mind they were just burning matches, and I just kept it steady. And we eventually caught them, and then the rest of the race played out the way the rest of the race played out. All right, so right here, you're going to see them putting in a pretty strong effort to try to drop us, which they were kind of successful in dropping Dave for a little bit, but I took this as a mental note, as I'll get them back for this eventually, but I didn't like that they tried to drop Dave and trying to ruin our recovery period here, so I put that in the mental box to be revisited later on in this race. And Dave did catch back up, but you know, what a strong effort he had to put in. So the reason for the Christmas tree, Christmas hat, and Christmas present is because when I tried to upload the video a little bit ago to YouTube, it said this section coming from the dirt across, and I think it's this fishing village of the bridge, and to the other side was in a copyright issue with the 2020 Tour de France virtual cycling race, which just happened to have 3 riders across that very same section, so it gave me a copyright strike if I were to upload it. So hopefully this works and I can just crop over it where the video can't catch. All right, as you'll see here, Dave caught back on from the time where they tried to drop him. So good for him for putting in that effort to reattach to us. I mean, I'm not mad at the guys. I mean, I would have probably done the same thing at some point to try to drop the other team members, but that was on our recovery and was not cool. So I put that away for remember that, and we'll be back to revisit that. And I'll return that favor later on. Hilly KOM. Dave got dropped there. It's all good. He put in strong efforts. Now it's just me and the 2 riders from Art, Rocket Man and Hato. So I'm just going to let these guys do the work, make sure to stay on their wheels, and try to conserve energy as much as possible, and eventually go on the offensive. With both of these guys using their anvil, I know they have no more power-ups. I really wasn't going to go launch an attack right here, but I figured there's this big downhill coming up, so it's go time. We got a little bit of recovery, but not quite enough. So right here, I'm just going to launch it. I'm going to send it with Dave in mind, what they did earlier, and I'm just going to keep drilling. And then when we get to the steeper part of the descent, I will drop my anvil to further open up the gap and hopefully stay away. So we'll just have to watch and see if I do. All right, so we are in the battle of the wills. You can see Rocket Man and Hatto behind me chasing. They're starting to separate from each other. So that tells me they're Rocket Man's putting in effort to try to catch. So at the bare minimum, I just have to match what he's doing, if not more. It's just all willpower now. Thankfully, I had Rob come in and start de-essing and provide that motivation, which is always good to hear. Not only kind of telling yourself you can do it when self-doubt starts to creep in, but with Rob telling me I can do it, I'm stronger solo. I don't need them to ride with them, which is all more encouraging to just keep digging. And the rest of my teammates just shouting out the gaps as I was going. Just put the head down and just kept the feet on the pedal and just kept drilling as best as I could. Also, another thing I learned from Rob as he was de-essing as I was going, he was telling me to make sure to push over these little climbs, which typically I wouldn't have done, but this is just, race IQ being higher than mine. You want to push just because you want to keep that gap open, obviously, but you don't want them closing it and closing the gap and pushing over the climbs, and you're not. Also, it just shows that you're kind of like the superior rider as you keep just drilling and pushing over these climbs and further opening the gap. And again, like I said earlier, it's a battle of willpower. So it's last man standing type thing. So whoever has the strongest will keep going, and eventually somebody's going to break. But I'm trying to be on the upper end of that. Kyle left, I knew this was in the bag. I was not giving up that 9-10 second lead. There was just no way. But just want to give Brian a shout out. Ever since we went up to Epic KOM, he was not to be seen again. So kudos for him for staying on the front, smashing on the front, and he set several PRs for himself. Also, in the midst of all this chaos, he stopped and did a bike swap in the middle of this that took about 10 seconds. He swapped to a TT bike and then just drilled it home from there. So shout out to Brian. Also want to shout out to Rocket Man for putting in the efforts, keeping in there and just trying to chase to get back on. He never really gave up. So good job to Rocket Man and to the entire team of Art for racing, even though they were 2 men down. So big kudos to you guys, and we'll definitely be seeing you guys again. All right, so this is the result when we thought we won. Everything was all good. Then we noticed the rider was DQ'd, and for the reasons I said earlier. And you know, it's always tough to see that, but our entire team ended up getting DQ'd, and the victory was given to Art and their 3 riders. And yeah, it is what it is. So we definitely need a rematch. Nonetheless, thank you guys for watching.